The hum of a lightsaber, a sound that promises danger and skill, echoed through the command bridge of the Invisible Hand. Before Count Dooku stood two Jedi Knights, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, their faces grim, their stances ready. The air crackled with anticipation, not just of a duel, but of a pivotal moment in the galactic conflict. Dooku, a master of the Force and a legendary duelist, knew the odds. 2 against 1, even for a combatant of his caliber, was a difficult proposition. But Dooku was not merely a fighter. He was a tactician, a strategist whose mind moved with the grace and precision of his blade. His eyes, sharp and calculating, assessed the pair. Obi-Wan, disciplined, masterful in defense, a practitioner of the Soresu form. Anakin, powerful, aggressive, often unpredictable, fueled by raw emotion and exceptional talent. Facing both simultaneously would be arduous, perhaps even unnecessary. Dooku's objective wasn't just to fight, but to win, to achieve his master's goals. And so, a plan began to form. A swift and devastating maneuver designed to tip the scales decisively in his favor. He would not engage them both head-on. He would separate them, dealing with each combatant on his own terms. This was Dooku's first stroke of tactical genius. He understood that a combined Jedi assault, with their synergy and coordinated movements, was their greatest strength. By breaking that bond, he could dismantle their effectiveness. His gaze sharpened, focusing not on the immediate threat of two blades, but on the vulnerability of their unity. The duel commenced, a dazzling flurry of lightsaber clashes. Dooku, with elegant efficiency, parried and dodged, his Makashi form flowing with deadly grace. But beneath the surface of his combat, his true intention was already in motion. He didn't just push back, he maneuvered. With a sudden, powerful surge of the Force, he hurled a section of the control room's infrastructure towards the Jedi. It was a calculated distraction, a precisely aimed disruption designed to split their attention and their physical proximity. Anakin, ever the aggressive one, moved to deflect the falling debris. But Dooku's true target was Obi-Wan. In that split second of distraction, as Obi-Wan's focus wavered, Dooku seized his opportunity. A powerful force push, delivered with unexpected ferocity, sent Obi-Wan sprawling, slamming him against a console, rendering him unconscious and utterly helpless. The entire maneuver, the distraction, the precise target selection, the swift incapacitation, took mere seconds. Obi-Wan, the stalwart defender, was out of the fight, a bystander to the fate of the galaxy. Dooku now stood alone against Anakin Skywalker. His plan had worked perfectly. He had neutralized one of the two most formidable Jedi Masters in the Republic, leaving him with a younger, more emotionally volatile opponent. This was exactly where Dooku wanted to be. He believed he held all the cards. He had studied Anakin's fighting style, his weaknesses, his tendency to let emotion cloud his judgment. He saw Anakin's rage as a predictable pattern, something to be exploited, perhaps even amplified, to break him. But there was another presence on the bridge, a silent observer whose influence was far more profound than Dooku realized. Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, seemingly a helpless captive, watched with keen interest. His subtle words, his whispered urgings to Anakin, were like sparks igniting a powder keg. Dooku, for all his tactical brilliance in lightsaber combat and battlefield strategy, possessed a fatal blind spot. He understood the physics of battle, the flow of the Force, and the choreography of duels. But he fundamentally underestimated the raw, untamed power of Anakin Skywalker's inner turmoil. He saw Anakin's rage as a tool, a weapon he could wield or disarm. He had even, in his own way, provoked it by taking down Obi-Wan, knowing full well the emotional bond between the two Jedi. He believed this provocation would push Anakin towards recklessness, making him easier to defeat. What Dooku failed to account for was the immense surge of power that Palpatine's insidious goading, combined with Obi-Wan's helplessness, would unleash in the young Jedi. This wasn't just anger Dooku was facing. It was a torrent of fear, frustration, and an almost primal urge to protect. It was a power bordering on the dark side, one that Anakin, in that moment, allowed to consume him. The duel shifted dramatically. Anakin, no longer fighting with discipline, but with an overwhelming, almost terrifying force, became a whirlwind of raw aggression. His lightsaber, once a controlled extension of his skill, now moved with a savage, unrestrained fury. Dooku, for the first time, looked genuinely surprised. The predictable Anakin he had studied, the one whose moves he thought he could counter, had vanished. In his place stood something else entirely, something far more dangerous, far more powerful than he had anticipated. Dooku's parries grew desperate, his elegant movements replaced by a struggle for survival. He had provoked this rage, believing it would be his key to victory. Instead, it became the instrument of his downfall. The young Jedi, fueled by an anger Dooku himself had stoked, overwhelmed him with a ferocity that defied his tactical expectations. His lightsaber was disarmed, then his hands, severed in a swift, brutal strike. In his final moments, Dooku looked to Palpatine, seeing not a helpless captive, but the true architect of his demise. He realized, too late, that he had been merely a pawn in a larger game, and that his brilliant tactic, so sound in principle, had been fatally flawed in its psychological application. He understood lightsaber combat, but he fatally underestimated the explosive power of Anakin's rage, a power he had deliberately provoked, believing it would lead to a predictable, controllable outcome. So, in the end, Dooku's plan was indeed tactically brilliant. Separating Anakin and Obi-Wan, and swiftly incapacitating Obi-Wan, was a masterstroke that gave him a perceived advantage. But it was psychologically flawed, a miscalculation of the profound impact of emotional distress and Palpatine's manipulation on Anakin Skywalker. He set the stage for his own defeat by unleashing a power he could neither comprehend nor contain, turning his genius tactic into the catalyst for his own demise. It's a powerful lesson in how even the most intelligent strategies can unravel when the human element, the depths of emotion, and the complexities of the mind are underestimated. What do you think about Dooku's final moments? Was his plan truly genius, or was it doomed from the start the moment Palpatine entered the equation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights into the galaxy far, far away.